Hi everybody. For math today, all we're going to do is be completing page 357 and 358. So you need to rip that page out of your workbook. Yep, rip page 357 out of your workbook and go ahead and get your name and number up here at the top. And you can also put the date. Make sure you put the correct date of when you're supposed to be working on this. I'm going to help you out with the front side of this, so if you would like to pause the video and just do it on your own, you can come back at the end and work through it and see if you got these correct. That might be a good skill for you to practice getting ready for the test. That's right, we are getting ready for Unit 8 test. Don't worry, I have a fun plan in mind for how to review for it, but you do need to complete this quiz. So pause it if you're feeling pretty confident on all of these concepts with geometry, and then come back after you've completed it and watch the video and see if you did them correctly. If you are struggling or need help, then don't do that and you can just stay right with me the whole time, okay? All right, everyone do what you're going to do. Either pause it and work on your own or continue watching. Number 1, explain why this trapezoid is a quadrilateral. Remember, quad means it has 4 sides, but not a parallelogram. Remember, a parallelogram means it has 2 sets of parallel sides. So it is a quad because it has 4. Let's just double check. We'll count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is a quadrilateral, but it is not a parallelogram because only the top and the bottom are parallel. Remember those parallel marks we've made before? Look at the top, the left and right. Those aren't parallel because if you were to keep going, that's right, that was a good sound effect. Let me try it again. They would connect right there. So lines 1 and 3 in this situation are not parallel. So it says explain why this trapezoid is a quadrilateral but not a parallelogram. So I'm going to write with complete sentences. This trapezoid. Those of you who paused the video and came back, you need to have a complete sentence. This trapezoid is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. Period. It is not a parallelogram because it only has 1 set of parallel sides. And I'm going to add, for maybe some extra credit or some points here, it needs 2. It needs 2 sets. That's how I would get extra points, because I know that it's a parallelogram would have 2 sets and this one only has 1 set of parallel sides. Okay, I also would have gotten points by numbering the sides of the shape and showing the parallel lines, the parallel marks. So be doing that. If you didn't do that and you paused the video, make sure you try to go back and add those things. All right, number 2, circle the figure that is a convex. So it does not exit. So if I draw a line segment, it does not exit the pentagon. That means it has to have 5 sides. And it has to have 1 pair of parallel sides. Okay. First of all, these are probably all pentagons, I would assume. Yeah, so we don't need to count the sides. But I know right now that this one goes out of the cave. This is like a square Pac-Man. See? It would go out. So that's concave. So is this one. Because if I put a point here and a point there, that line segment will go out of the cave. So it can't be shape 2 or shape 4. But it has to be a convex pentagon with 1 pair of parallel sides. We'll take a look at this one. Are any of these sides parallel? No, because if you were to extend them, they would all run into each other eventually. So that one cannot be right. Let's prove this one. Which sides are parallel? Oh, the left and the right. The left and the right are parallel. So I'll make the little marks. And that is the correct shape. All right. Oh, you might want to prove that it's convex by doing like 2 little line segment points. Or you could get out your yellow and make a rubber band, right, to show that, but that would be good enough for me. Number 3, Ray classifies a rectangle as a quadrilateral and a parallelogram. Explain why Ray is or is not correct. So she says a rectangle can also be called a quadrilateral. Does a rectangle have 4 sides? Yes, so she's right on that one. And a rectangle could be called a parallelogram. In a rectangle, let's just draw one. This is a pretty classic first grader drawing a rectangle. In a rectangle, remember opposite sides are congruent. So top would be congruent to bottom. And all the angles are 90-degree angles. Is this a parallelogram? Do you have 2 sets of parallel sides? Yeah, the top would be parallel to the bottom. I'm going to actually do those ones with 2 because they have more space. And the left will be parallel to the right. So yes, she is correct. Ray is correct. It says explain why. Ray is correct because a rectangle has 4 sides. A rectangle has 4 sides, which makes it a quadrilateral. Period. A rectangle also has, now we're explaining the parallelogram part, a rectangle also has 2 sets of parallel sides, comma, therefore, it's a good vocabulary word, it is also a, hopefully you know the next word, parallelogram. I love that answer. I'm going to put a big smiley face there. Ray was correct. Make sure you explain it well. Okay, on numbers 4 and 5, they want you to use all of the names possible to name this shape. So we just go through it all, okay? If I'm naming this shape right here, I can see that there are 2 sets of parallel sides. So this is a parallelogram. This is a parallelogram. First of all, I should just do this. Is this a quadrilateral? Does it have 4 sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. It's a quadrilateral. Don't cross it off in case the other one is. Is it a rectangle? Are there 4 right angles? No. If it's a rectangle, it definitely can't be a square because you have to have 4 right angles on that. So it's not that and not that. We already said it was a parallelogram. Is it a rhombus? Remember, a rhombus is like a slanted square. So to be a rhombus, all sides have to be the same. And they are. Cool. And opposite angles are congruent. So this is a rhombus. Is it a trapezoid? No, it has 2 sets. Remember, if it's a trapezoid, it's not a parallelogram. So if it's a parallelogram, it's not a trapezoid. Okay. And then all these are for triangles, so we're done with that one. Number 5, they want you to look at this triangle. Remember, the book and tests and stuff, they're going to give you congruency marks. You're not just going to have to guess on that. So right now you can tell none of these sides are the same. Otherwise, they would have congruency marks. So what is that name if it's mean and no sides are the same? Scalene. This is a scalene triangle. And it's those are its sides, so it can't be isosceles or equilateral. It's scalene, and it has to be one of these. Is it acute, obtuse, or right? Remember, it's going to prove to you if it's a right angle. Look, they've done that always. So it's not right. And you just now need to look, are all of those angles acute or is one of them obtuse? So I just come here, look, that's pretty small. I'm going to do a little angle mark. That's acute. This one, if it was 90 degrees, so I'm just going to look at this top corner, I would make this backwards L. and it would go like that. So that would be 90 degrees, and I went smaller. So this one's also acute. And this is the last one. Where would 90 degrees be if this was the bottom of the L? Ooh, it would be close. But it was a tiny bit, just a tiny bit to the side. So this is also acute. When all three angles are acute, we know that it is an acute triangle. Congratulations to everyone who completed this. If you got 100%, if you missed one or two, luckily you get to change them. Or if you needed to add, congruency marks or parallel line marks or numbering the sides, you can do that as well. All right, the time is now yours, and this is the only thing you have to do for math today is complete page 357, and you're on your own to complete page 358. It's just a fluency check. Make sure your name and number get at the top with the date. Oh, I really miss doing math with you in class. I'm really proud of you for sticking in there thus far. If you have been doing these, congratulations. Your math grade will show it. You're going to complete all of these 1 through 15. They get harder as they go, and you can complete them in any method you want. You may not use a calculator. No calculators. Ms. Fisher wants to see your work. When you finish page 358, go ahead and put it in your completed work folder, and you're done with math for the day. Thanks for hanging in there. Hopefully you did well on the quiz.